Let's discuss a Java program that a number can be expressed as power of 2 or not is the requirement. Like the number can be 0, so straight away we can say that without checking anything, it's not possible. Number 1, yes, it is 2 to the power of 0, no more iterations required. Directly we can say it's possible. But some numbers like any other even numbers only, like 4, we can't say directly. I mean, in terms of programming, first we have to divide and check with 2, right? So if we divide with 2, then remainder 0 is one thing. And then if the remainder is 0, then reduce the number once again by 2. 4 by 2, the result will become 2. Then repeat the same process. Is it divisible by 2? Yes. Then what is that we have to do? Again reduce the number by 2. Divide the number by 2. So in this scenario, again it will become 1. So if the number is 1, again it is possible. Like something, a number is 6. 6 when we divide with 2, the remainder is 0. Fine. Then what to do? 6, you do the quotient division of 2. Then what's the result? 3. Then is 3 is divisible by 2? No. When we divide 3 with 2, remainder is not a 0. It's not a 0 this time. Therefore, it is not possible to express as power of 2. So like this, another example, if we take 8, then first when we divide with 2, remainder is 0, then reduce the number 8 by 2, result will become 4. Then for 4, if we check with the remainder is 0 or not when we divide it with 2, yes, and then reduce the number by quotient division of 2, becomes 2 again. Then do the same process, 2 when we divide with 2, yes, the remainder is 0, then reduce the 2 with quotient division of 2, then this will become 1. So if it is 1, again already we have a conclusion called as the number is divisible by, the number can be expressed as 2 to the power of some value. So like this is the process to happen when we write the program internally. This should be the process. Then how do we write it, a Java program for this? To write a Java program, so because it is a yes or no kind of thing, a number can be expressed, then return true. A number can't be expressed, return false. For that, if I take a method public static, return type is boolean, then followed by a method name of programmer choice. While executing, I'll write a meaningful method name, and it needs a input called n. So what is the first scenario? If the number is 0, then do we need to check anything? Not required. Straight away we can say that false. It is not possible to express power of 0 as power of 2. Then what's next scenario? Something like 4, 6, 8 and all. We need this process again and again. That's why I'm using a while loop. A while loop when n is not equals 0 is something we have to do inside the while loop. I'm sorry, if n is not equals to 1. If n is equals to 1, then what to do? Straight away we can say that return true, no? Anything is required to check? Not required. That's why if n is not equals to 1, something like 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 scenario, then we have to try some code. But n is equal to 0, this scenario is already over. If n can be 1, then if n is 1, without doing any check, directly we are returning true. That's what the meaning of this line. Then if it is other numbers like 2 or 4 or 6 and all, first thing, if n modulo 2 not equal to 0, means if a number when we divide with 2, if it is not divisible, then what's the conclusion? It is something like 3 or 5 kind of scenarios, right? Then straight away we can say return false. Then if it is like 4 and 6 and 8, then do the process n equals n quotient division of 2, means reduce the number. That's why we are dividing with 2. So in this 6 scenario, it will become 3. And again the same process. Is 3 is not equals to 1? True. Then is 3 is not divisible by 2? Yes. Then false. If it is not divisible by, then return false, because 3 is not a even number, right? So this is the requirement, and for this it's a code. I hope it is understood. Let us see the same thing in terms of execution. So already I have taken the same syntax. Public static boolean, method name is power of 2, and input n. So if n is 0, first we are checking, and if yes, then return false because 0 can't be expressed. Then next we are going for other scenarios. So when n is not equals to 1, then immediately question comes, what if n equals to 1? N equals to 1, straight away it is true because 1 can be expressed as power of 2, 2 power 0. If it is not equals to 1, first we are checking, is it divisible by 2? If it is not divisible, then return false. If it is, then where is this line? This line is actually else part. We don't need to mention that. By default, if condition is false, this is outside if only. So if it is divisible by 2, then we are reading the number by 2 once again. We are dividing with 2. Quotient will be updated to same n, and the loop will be reiterated. Again, not equals to 1, then return true. If it is equals to 1, equals to 1, return true. Not equals to 1, then repeat this process. Either maybe if condition or maybe else condition. So here, this is else part, okay? So for if and for else, we no need to use flower brackets if it is a non-initialization with single line of code. I hope you know this point. Then followed by to execute that, I have taken the scanner class and I have taken some number from scanner, and I'm using that next int method of scanner class to store the value into some number. I'm calling the method here from the print function. So now if we run this program, so let me check this. So it is asking us to enter a number. So let's take a 0 scenario. It's false. Let me rerun. I'm giving the input as 1. Yes, 1 can be expressed. It's true. Let me run with 2. True. Then 4. True. 6 will be false. Then 8. True. Then you can take any such numbers like 1024 also, it can be expressed as 2 to the power of something. So the result is true. So this is the program for a number can be expressed as power of 2. Thank you.